Morioka Moriko, a self-proclaimed elite NEET who just turned 30, gets home carrying a bouquet of flowers she received on her last day of work. Without ceremony, she tosses the bouquet straight into the trash, throws herself onto the bed still fully dressed, and knocks out from exhaustion. The next morning, the alarm rings and she jumps up, startled, until she remembers she's finally off. Forever. She gets up, cleans the carpet with unexpected energy, and turns on her computer to play the good old MMORPG Nantara SG, but her account has been deleted for inactivity. Moriko gives a nostalgic little smile as she remembers the virtual friend she had there and starts looking for another game. She ends up charmed by Fruits de Mare, downloads it in a flash, and creates a male character, the swordsman Hayashi. The first quest is to defeat the boss of the starter area and open the chest. After dying about 7 times in a row, Moriko starts freaking out that this game is way more of a pain in the butt than Nantara SG. At that exact moment, a player named Lily sends a worried message asking if everything's okay. Moriko thinks the girl is ridiculously cute. Lily compliments the game's visuals, says she's addicted, and invites Hayashi to form a party. Moriko turns as red as a tomato, accepts the friend request, and the two start playing together. Hayashi finally kills his first little monster. Lily cheers, congratulates him on the level up, and thinks he's ready to take on the boss. He's not. He gets absolutely wrecked. Lily keeps healing non-stop until they manage to win. Moriko thanks her from the bottom of her heart. Hayashi picks up a rare silver sword, opens the chest, and out comes some gold and a few bracelets identical to the ones Lily is wearing. The two get awkward for a moment, then burst into laughter. From then on, it becomes routine. They play every single day until Hayashi hits level 80. In an underwater area, suddenly it starts snowing inside the game. Christmas decorations pop up out of nowhere. It's the Christmas event. Moriko comes up with a secret plan. She's going to farm a super rare crystal rose all by herself to give Lily as a Christmas present, as a way to thank her for the company. She starts making lame excuses and vanishing from her friend. In the guild bar, Hayashi chats with his clanmates. Pokotaro is at a net cafe between one jam-packed train and the next, suffering through his hellish commute. Himeralda tells him to go home already because someone might be waiting for you. The guildmaster, Kanbei, fondly recalls the time when Hayashi used to die to level 1 goblins and mixed up all the hotkeys. Hayashi thanks everyone for the affection, and they keep drinking themselves silly virtually. Himeralda pulls Lily aside. Lily vents that she feels super comfortable with Hayashi, but he's been acting weird and distant. Himeralda warns Kanbei privately that something's up. Kanbei calls Hayashi to an all-guys dungeon, man to man, and asks what's going on. He reminds him that dating is against guild rules, but advises, just be a good game friend to her. Lily just wants to have fun. Then he drops the bomb. You know, tons of men play female characters online, right? Moriko almost chokes. Hayashi then reveals the Crystal Rose plan, saying that even though he's low level, he wants to get it on his own to gift his friend on Christmas. Right then, an absurdly strong boss appears and beats the two to a pulp. After the beating, Hayashi goes to talk to Lily. She gets worried seeing his condition, heals everything, and asks if she did something wrong, if she's being annoying. Moriko completely freezes. Hayashi stammers and ends up inviting her to spend Christmas Eve together in the game because I have something to give you. Lily accepts instantly. Moriko nearly cries with relief. In real life, on Christmas night, Homar invites his co-worker Sakurai, who is actually Yuta, to grab a drink after work. Sakurai politely refuses. He already has plans. Meanwhile, Moriko runs into a convenience store to buy Christmas food and bumps into Sakurai in the fried chicken line. There's only one piece left. They both ask for it at the same time. Moriko's stomach decides to growl loudly. Sakurai laughs and lets her take it. Moriko pays in a hurry and runs out, mortified. Inside the game, Hayashi waits for Lily at their agreed spot. She appears out of nowhere and gives his avatar a surprise hug. Moriko thinks it's the most adorable thing in the universe. Lily gives him a special die to equip on weapons. Hayashi thanks her emotionally and gives her the mini rose brooch he managed to get. Lily freaks out with joy. They wish each other Merry Christmas and laugh like fools. The next day, Moriko leaves the convenience store, still euphoric, mentally planning the next quest when the clerk Kazuomi Fujimoto runs after her shouting that she forgot her bag. He folded everything neatly so nothing would spill because he noticed she always buys a ton of stuff. As he hands it over, he sees her Fruits de Mar point card fall out of her pocket, but the manager calls him before he can ask if she plays. Moriko thanks him for the kindness and rushes home to keep playing. Already in the game, Hayashi and guildmate Lilac are destroying a boss in an advanced area. Suddenly, Lilac throws out, with a mischievous grin, "Hayashi-kun, you're a NEET, right? You stay online all day." Then she adds, "And you're a college student, right? Nailed it?" She explains that she analyzed when everyone in the guild is online and came to that conclusion. She guesses they're both 21 and go to the same university. Moriko panics, but Hayashi improvises, "Yeah, you hit the nail on the head." Lilac gets all excited. Moriko, drowning in guilt for lying, goes to clean the carpet again as punishment. On the virtual beach with Lily, Hayashi gets startled when he learns the whole guild already knows about the college student story. Everyone thought Hayashi was older. Moriko is left speechless. Without meaning to, she slips out a question about Lily's age. Awkward silence. Lily starts laughing hysterically and says that some things we just keep to ourselves, right? Then she comforts Hayashi, saying she'll share a bit about herself, but Moriko short-circuits and asks her not to say anything because she herself isn't ready to reveal personal stuff. Lily understands perfectly, praises his kindness, and the two agree that when they're ready, they'll share their secrets with each other. Then Lily starts telling the story of how the guild almost fell apart. The former master moved abroad for work and wanted to disband everything because they couldn't recruit new members anymore. Kanbei stood his ground, took leadership by force, and said it would be a waste to end a max-level guild. Lily suspects the real reason was that he wanted to keep the less active friends close. Moriko gets startled when she sees it's already 5 a.m. and realizes Lily has to work soon. Lily panics, and the two agree that next time they'll stay up all night together. Moriko ends up dozing off at the table, wakes up burning with a fever, and stumbles out to buy medicine. Yuta, rushing to the office, accidentally elbows her without meaning to. Unconscious, Moriko has a terrifying nightmare that perfectly represents the rat race, then wakes up in the hospital, spotting Yuta dozing next to her. Yuta warns her to be careful with the IV in her arm, apologizes for the accident, offers to pay all medical expenses, leaves his contact info, and introduces himself as Yuta Sakurai. Moriko thanks him and introduces herself as well before they part. Later, Yuta notices her name matches one on the company's distribution list. At night, the guild members notice Hayashi's gloomy mood. Kanbei assures him they'll listen to any problem he has while teasing Lilac. Moriko gets teary-eyed and tells them about her encounter with Yuta, pretending Yuta is a girl. The members freak out, thinking it's a romantic story, and start throwing love advice around. Kanbei suggests being direct and sending Yuta an email to thank him. So Moriko goes AFK, nervous as hell, and sends the email. Yuta smiles and responds immediately while having dinner with Homare. Moriko returns to the game, leaving everyone worried since Yuta replied instantly and invited her to dinner. Himeralda and Lilac get excited all over again. As an introvert, Moriko is terrified of the invitation because of how she looks. At their usual meeting spot, Lily notices Hayashi's sadness and says she logs in whenever she's tired or feeling down. Moriko feels a warm connection with Lily, who asks him to vent to her sometimes, and they agree to support each other. After playing, Moriko cherishes the kind people around her and decides to respond to Yuta, but freaks out when she sees it's already 2 a.m. Yuta jolts awake at Moriko's email reply. He's eating dinner with Homare at an all-you-can-eat barbecue place, where he asks if Homare knows Moriko Morioka. Homare recognizes her instantly as Mori-Chan from back when they worked together at Matsukaze Busan in the distribution systems department. The weird nickname confuses Yuta. Yuta notes that Moriko was exceptionally good at her job, looking over a manual she wrote, and Homare agrees, even though they weren't close. Homare says he used to call Moriko when she covered his department. He recalls late nights at the office with her helping him with documents. He saw how exhausted she was, and that led Moriko to apologize while crying. He comforted her and started calling her Mori since then. Homare shows Yuta a picture of them together, and Yuta blushes, confirming it's her. Yuta drops his chopsticks in jealousy when Homare plans to meet her again, and the two bicker. When Yuta drops the new pair of chopsticks, after dinner Homare buys coffee, and Yuta goes back to the office alone. He reads Moriko's reply saying she doesn't want to celebrate her recovery with dinner because she doesn't want to trouble him. That night, Moriko walks to the store, replaying recent events in her head. Kazuomi notices her gloomy mood, but she perks up when she grabs a Fruits de Mare point card and heads to him at the register. He holds back from asking if she plays because of the customers in line. Moriko runs home to play, downs a drink before sitting at her PC. In the game, Hayashi feels renewed. He spots Pokotaro, who thinks his problems must be solved thanks to his lighter vibe. Hayashi feels exposed because Lily spread his secret, but Pokotaru reassures him that everyone's just worried. The members fear Hayashi might play less because of real-life drama, but he explains the game is his escape from his problems. He thanks them and receives an insanely expensive cape from Lily, leaving Moriko stunned. Hayashi feels indebted to Lily, thinking a man should try harder, which gives Pokotaru the chills. Moriko grows anxious because she has nothing valuable to give Lily in return, so Pokotaru tells him that Nico, another guildmate, once gave him a powerful weapon. Ever since then, Pokotaru always finds ways to thank her whenever she helps, assuring him Lily is exactly the same. He suggests focusing on Lily's hidden intentions, making Moriko paranoid. She tries distracting herself with other things, but can't stop thinking about it. Hayashi meets Lily at the tree to return the cape, curious about her motivations. Lily is stunned that he feels bad for having nothing to offer back, so she reveals that when she started playing, she received tons of hunting invitations. She only partied with people who had similar goals. She gained more friends after joining the guild, but her popularity caused trouble in maintaining social relationships. Despite everything she went through, she keeps playing because she dreams of meeting someone similar to her old online friend again, and Hayashi admits he's the same. Kanbei suggested she call him her partner to finally scare off the pests, which is why she's so grateful. She was afraid of getting too close to others, but after meeting Hayashi, she started enjoying the game more. Lily invites him to be her partner. Moriko can't get her racing heart under control, starts wondering if she might have a crush on Lily, but immediately denies any romance talk because, well, Lily is a girl. The two put on their capes, and Hayashi accepts her invitation to be partners, while the guild members quietly confirm Lily's true intentions. Moriko stays stunned, and Yuta is left open-mouthed, speechless, watching the whole conversation unfold. All excited, Moriko keeps poking around the new campaign and the loot boxes in Fruits de Mer, but holds herself back from blowing money on expensive items, thinking of Lily. In the end, she only buys a few. Meanwhile, Lilac, who in real life is Yuka, is convinced Lily is going to buy loot boxes too. She gets jealous of Lily and Hayashi's partnership and wonders what Kanbei thinks about all of this. At the store, Kazuomi learns that a co-worker will cover his next shift so he can attend a job interview. If he passes, he'll have to quit working there. The manager jokes, rooting for him to fail so he keeps working. Kazuomi gets the notice to turn off the electronic point machine for maintenance. They don't even announce it since only he and Moriko use it. By coincidence, Moriko walks into the store laughing to herself about some mushrooms that look like Lily, giving Kazuomi chills. She goes to buy a Fruits de Mare point card, but the machine is under maintenance. Kazuomi says he'll be back in a second, and she waits. He surprises her by revealing he plays too, and starts excitedly talking about the new loot boxes. But before Moriko can respond, a customer barges into the line. She runs off, and Kazuomi calls after her, inviting her to come back later. Moriko feels overwhelmed, but thrilled to finally chat about MMOs with someone in real life. Later in the game, Hayashi and Kanbei catch Lilac red-handed spying while they talk about loot boxes. Lilac shows off the new tunic she pulled from hers, sparking an argument, with Kanbei teasing her for spending so much. Moriko laughs for real, and Pokotaru logs in. He compliments her tunic, but Lilac gets pissed because Pokotaru spawns right on top of her, blocking the view of her new outfit. Hayashi dreams of winning a top-tier prize, but the members warn him about the greed sensor, which gives bad luck to people who get too greedy. Hayashi panics, and Lilac comforts him. Lily shows up all hyped to spin her loot boxes, so Moriko gets ready for the first roll. Hayashi is disappointed with healing potions, but tries again with everyone cheering him on. While the others pull good items, he keeps getting potion after potion. In the end, he hits 2 top prizes, and Lily completes the entire collection, completely confident she can always get what she wants by buying more. Lily and Lilac plan to dye their tunics, and Kanbei keeps teasing Lilac about her girly choices, which he thinks don't suit her at all. Later on, Pokotaru's character, currently being piloted by Himeralda, scolds Kanbei for being rude to Lilac, who is wearing her usual clothes. In reality, Lilac chose them because Kanbei said he liked them better that way. At a restaurant, Homar confirms that Yuta has a crush on Moriko, which Yuta vehemently denies. But Homar noticed that Yuta keeps checking his phone non-stop at work and taking little detours to the convenience store just to see her. Even so, Yuta wants an excuse to email Moriko. That night, Homar goes to the store looking for Moriko and runs into her right at the door as she's leaving. At first, he doesn't recognize her. but runs back when he realizes it's her. Kazuomi wonders if Hamar is hitting on her since he starts talking like he knows her full name, which scares Moriko. She smiles, recognizing Hamar, but feels embarrassed about being unemployed. Hamar invites Moriko out for drinks on the weekend, and she reluctantly accepts. The next day, Hamar brags to Yuta that he got Moriko's contact and set up a date, leaving Yuta green with jealousy. Later, Yuta logs into Fruits de Mare, where Hayashi talks about the hospital incident, turning Yuta's gender into a girl. He mentions he turned down her dinner invitation, but agreed to get drinks with an old work friend, referring to Hamar as a woman. Yuta is stunned, suspecting Hayashi is Moriko disguised as a man. Yuta pieces together Homare's and Hayashi's stories, pretends to be AFK for spilling coffee, and acts normally as Lily, ignoring the wild suspicion. At work the next day, Hamar brags again about getting Moriko's contact, but Yuta, knowing she's Hayashi, thinks Hamar pressured her into the date. Hamar invites him to go along, but Yuta refuses so he won't get in the way. Then Hamar reveals he set everything up for him, even though Moriko has no idea. Moriko buys beauty products at the store, worried about her appearance for the outing with Hamar. At the register, Kazuomi introduces himself, and she answers super formally even though she's older, which amuses him. Kazuomi suggests they play together sometime, but Moriko hesitates because of her online gender. In the end, she agrees, but goes silent when Kazuomi reveals his username in the game. In the game, Hayashi hides, anxious about his online life being exposed. Lilac joins him, saying she's going hunting with a classmate who pretends to be a guy online, which reminds Moriko of her own situation. Kanbei shows up suggesting they talk in private, making Hayashi tense since Kanbei knows his real identity. Kanbei jokes that Lilac is fine with different genders online, and she agrees, not understanding Hayashi's intentions, before leaving. After that, Kanbei calls him Mori in the game chat, which Hayashi forbids immediately. Kanbei catches on right away that he was lying, because in reality he's a NEET in her 30s who's dying of embarrassment about revealing her true identity. Hayashi apologizes, but Kanbei reassures him that it's all good, leaving Moriko emotional. She decides that, as Lily's partner, she'll tell the truth one day, imagining Lily might even feel relieved to know Hayashi is actually a woman. Kanbei says she can also choose to never say anything, but recommends avoiding real-life advice with Lily. The two agree to keep their identities hidden for now. Later, Moriko freaks out over her eye bags and can't pick an outfit for the date. Even against Kanbei's advice, she decides to ask Lily for help, telling her she has a date the next day. Yuta, knowing Hamar leaves on a business trip the next day, starts wondering if he might actually be Mu after all. Lily suggests some outfits, but gets confused when Hayashi asks what a woman would wear. Suddenly, Kanbei joins the conversation, making Hayashi tense. He asks what Lily herself would wear, and Hayashi thanks her for the help. Kanbei sighs, seeing Moriko ask for real-life advice again. Lily whispers to him that she can't reveal she's a man, so Kanbei tells her to just answer the question. Lily picks a look, Kanbei asks about hairstyle, and the two start debating short hair versus long. Moriko feels guilty for letting her hair grow out, since Lily prefers it long. At the salon, Moriko's hairdresser is actually Yuka, Lilac in real life, who suggests several lengths. Moriko chooses medium, and on the way out, calculates that the price equals 11 loot boxes. Then she even converts the cost of clothes into loot boxes and buys makeup. At the office, Yuta realizes Hamar planned everything so he could be with Moriko in his place, since he won't return from the trip until the next day. Meanwhile, Moriko struggles with her makeup, and Yuta sees that Hayashi is offline in Fruits de Mare. She arrives early at the station. Yuta keeps playing with the guild after work. Kanbei comments that Hayashi logged off, making Lily nervous. Moriko keeps waiting. Yuta, still denying her identity, sees the time, drops everything on impulse, and runs to meet Moriko, leaving everyone hanging. After an hour waiting, Moriko gets anxious. Yuta arrives, speechless at how she looks, and when she starts leaving, he runs after her and calls her by name. Moriko gets confused seeing him. Yuta explains that he and Hamar are co-workers. Right then, Hamar calls from his trip. Moriko had misunderstood the date. She turns red with embarrassment. Hamar teases her for getting excited and, upon hearing Yuta is there, asks on speakerphone if Moriko looks cute. Yuta, flustered, admits she does, but then says she's more Hamar's type. Privately, Hamar tells Moriko to enjoy the evening with Yuta to make up for turning down dinner before. Moriko, awkward, invites him, and the two head to an izakaya. She asks how Yuta knew about the mix-up. He dodges, saying he talked to Hayashi, who heard she was going out for drinks and by coincidence saw her coming home from work. Both think the coincidence is weird since they know Homar. Moriko apologizes again for causing trouble earlier. Yuta plays it down, bringing up the fried chicken incident, leaving Moriko confused because she doesn't remember the store. After dinner, Yuta buys her water so she can sober up. The two get awkward when he invites her for a walk. She accepts. Yuta walks her home and she thanks him. He says she's very kind, a line that reminds Moriko of Lily's compliments. She comments she would have liked her job more if she'd had co-workers like them. Yuta values Homar's friendship despite the teasing. Moriko gets excited for the next day's outing with Homar. They enjoy the evening, and Yuta tells Homar he won't join the meetup the next day. The next day, the guild thinks Hayashi is hungover. Yuta stays gloomy about letting Moriko go out with Homare. Moriko waits at the station. Homar apologizes for the misunderstanding and shows up by surprise. He calls her cute and gives her a souvenir. As they walk to the restaurant, Moriko blushes when he switches sides on the sidewalk to walk closer to the street. He asks if she went out with Yuta the night before, making her even more embarrassed. At the restaurant, Homar says Yuta seeing her by accident was the power of love. She laughs and denies it, thinking Yuta would never be interested in a woman in her 30s. Homar reveals Yuta is 28 and thinks she's attractive. They order food and wine and talk about Yuta. Moriko opens up about fruits de mar, saying the best part is making friends with strangers. She says she asked her online friends for advice about the dates. One suggested long hair, another short, so she settled in the middle. Homar cracks up. She blushes when he compliments her looks. After drinking too much, her vision blurs and she passes out at the table. Homar comes back from the bathroom and finds her asleep. Meanwhile, the guild notices Lily is acting strange, thinking something is wrong. Yuta can't focus at work, and suddenly his phone vibrates. Homar sent a picture of Moriko sleeping with her head on the restaurant table with the caption, "I'm taking her home with me, okay?" Yuta goes into full panic mode and logs out of the game instantly, leaving Kazuomi suspicious about how fast he ran off. At the restaurant, Homar keeps teasing Yuta over messages, asking why the hell he was at the station yesterday if that route has nothing to do with where he lives. Yuta, remembering his moments with Moriko in the game, insists it was pure coincidence. Homar sends him a souvenir anyway. Meanwhile, Moriko gets home, washes her face, and keeps thinking about the ridiculous luck she's been having with men lately. Overjoyed, she finally logs into the game. Hayashi looks for Lily, but she's offline. He decides to check on the rest of the group. Suddenly, Lily shows up, super excited to see him. Hayashi says he enjoyed going out yesterday, and Yuta feels relieved that Moriko had fun. Moriko lights up when Lily fully logs in and greets everyone. She says she's going to sort through the outfits in her storage, and the whole guild, Hayashi included, asks to see the clothes. Yuta blushes but shows a bunny outfit that Moriko thinks is the cutest thing ever. Lilac dies of jealousy at how much money Lily spends on skins. Lily even puts a hair bow on Himeralda. Hayashi regrets the short hair on his character and imagines Kanbei changing his long hair, which makes Yuta laugh to himself. At night, Lily walks with Hayashi at their usual spot. Hayashi thanks her for the clothing advice and mentions everything went wrong with the date timing. Yuta, pretending he knows nothing, decides he's going to avoid Moriko in real life despite Homar's advice. When Hayashi calls Lily a wonderful person, Yuta blushes hard. Moriko is happy because Lily reminds her of Yuta, but Yuta starts wondering if she's already figured out that Lily is a man. Even though he loves hearing Moriko's stories, the guilt tightens. The next day, Homar downloads Fruits de Mare and invites Yuta to play, but Yuta is at work. So Homar calls Moriko asking for beginner tips. Moriko gets euphoric but dies of embarrassment over her male character. Homar installs the game, promising to talk to her later. Moriko decides not to mention Homar to Kanbei and plans a quick session without involving the guild. After logging out, Nico surprises everyone by getting online on a weekend. Moriko creates a new character named Molly, identical to her old one from another MMO. Nico, stressed from work, says he'd give anything to be a NEET playing games all day. Moriko stays in the starter town with Molly waiting for Homari. Meanwhile, Nico spots a different-looking character in the plaza and calls Kanbei to check it out. Homar messages saying he created a buff, well-endowed character named Harumi, leaving Moriko floored by her appearance. She suggests forming a party to talk in private, and Homar accepts immediately. Moriko sees Kanbei and Nico around but feels safe behind another character. Nico pops up out of nowhere to teach Homar how to use party chat, making Moriko tense. Homar thanks Nico, and Kanbei instantly realizes Molly isn't a newbie at all. Homar introduces himself and Moriko almost faints. At night, Yuta gets home from work and sees a message from Homar saying he downloaded Fruits de Mer. He wonders if Moriko invited Homar and whether the two are getting closer. When he sees the photo of Moriko's new character, he recognizes her instantly. She looks exactly like Yuki, his old friend from another MMO. Yuta calls Homar, who goes AFK right in the middle of playing with Moriko and Kanbei. Kazuomi, seeing Harumi, suspects it's the guy he saw with Moriko at the store. Harumi comes back and they keep playing. Yuta feels jealous despite having joined the game just to be someone else. It doesn't matter. He can only see Yuki and Moriko. He remembers she used to say she wanted to quit her job in the other MMO, but he denies that Yuki might be Moriko. He creates a new male character. The guild sees Harumi AFK again. Upon hitting level 8, Homar returns saying his friend wants to meet everyone. Yuta logs in, and Moriko thinks his character looks awesome. He introduces himself as Hearth, but feels disappointed when Moriko doesn't recognize the name. That night, Moriko walks with Hearth, stumbling over how to pronounce it. She learns he's an MMO veteran, and Yuta opens up about how much he loves this kind of game. He says he played another one a lot in the past, leaving Moriko embarrassed. She asks again how to pronounce his name. He teaches her properly, and Moriko freezes. It's exactly the memory she has of playing Nantara SG with her old friend named Hearth. Yuki comes rushing back to her memory. It was back in that old Nantara SG that she fell hopelessly in love with her online friend named Hearth. In the present, Harumi, Homar's character, falls asleep and logs out. Molly and Hearth return to the others. Hearth gets all cheerful, and Moriko tries to ask about his name, but freezes. Before she can say anything else, Yuta logs out quickly. Moriko remembers that the Hearth from back then was a student and starts daydreaming, blushing hard. What if Hearth is Yuta-kun? She takes a deep breath, gathers her courage, and calls him, asking if he ever knew a character named Yuki in Nantara SG. Yuta says yes and suddenly goes, "Hi Yuki," like it's the most natural thing in the world. Moriko almost drops her phone. She opens her heart. She loved playing with him back then and is insanely happy they can play together again. Feeling her excitement, Yuta's guilt surges, and he almost reveals he's Lily from Fruits de Mer. Amazed by her personality, he confesses, "Moriko-san, actually, I'm Lily." And right then, his phone battery dies. Since she didn't hear the confession, Moriko sends an email thanking him for the call. The next morning, Yuta sees she didn't hear anything. At night, he goes to the convenience store to buy hangover medicine, and the manager already recognizes him. On his way home, he runs into Moriko wearing a hoodie, no makeup, messy hair. She dies of embarrassment. To make things worse, her stomach growls loudly. Yuta hands her the bread he just bought, and they sit on a bench nearby. He brings up the fried chicken incident again. Moriko realizes Yuta has only ever seen her in her most embarrassing moments. Yuta calls her a kind person. Moriko says that besides him, there's only one other person who always says that, Lily, the online friend who always lifts her spirits. She starts talking non-stop about how much she admires Lily, saying Yuta reminds her so much of her, because he makes her feel the same warm way. She gets all excited thinking about playing with both of them on her main character, until Yuta says that's impossible. He stands up and blurts, "I'm Lily." Moriko takes a shower at Yuta's place, because she somehow ended up there without fully understanding how. As the water runs, she replays everything. Last night, Yuta confessed he was Lily, and she realized he was both the old Hearth and the current Lily. Yuta apologized 1,000 times, swearing he never meant to mess with her. Moriko asked when he figured out Hayashi was her. He told her he started to suspect during Lily's chats with Hayashi, and confirmed it that night at the station. Moriko thought that, in his place, she might not have run after him to avoid ruining the relationship. Yuta said he always felt comfortable playing with her and thanked her from the bottom of his heart, and suddenly announced he was quitting Fruits de Mer. Moriko grabbed him, apologized for lying about her gender, reminded him they were partners in the game, and begged him not to leave. Yuta was overjoyed. They said goodbye, but soon she came back asking for help on a quest whenever he had free time. Yuta promised to try logging in on Saturday. The next night, Moriko played with the guild and noticed Yuta hadn't logged in for days. She felt a huge emptiness but refused to message him. Kanbei got mad because she was spaced out during the battle. He and Pokataru confirmed something was wrong with Hayashi and offered an ear. They suspected it had to do with Lily's disappearance. Meanwhile, Yuta was having drinks with Homare, still lost in his conflict. Homare noticed the gloom and asked him to play Fruit de Mer again, wanting to know what was wrong. Yuta blurted out that he got rejected. Moriko falls asleep on her keyboard and wakes up startled by a notification. an email from Hamar saying he needs to talk. The next day, Yuta wakes up hungover, with no memory of how he got home. He finds a note from Hamar on his table. When you wake up, go to the park. He calls Hamar asking what kind of nonsense that was, but his friend just laughs and hangs up. At the park, Moriko is waiting for Hamar, who's late, until Yuta shows up. They look at each other in shock, immediately realizing they fell into Hamar's trap and panic trying to explain why they're there. Hamar, hiding, quietly slips away, satisfied watching them together. They sit on the bench. Awkward silence. Yuta explains that's why he hadn't been logging in. Moriko's stomach growls again. She apologizes, mortified. They both burst out laughing. Yuta suggests grabbing something to eat. On their way to the convenience store, Moriko gets tense thinking about Kazuomi, Kanbei in the game, seeing them together and not knowing if Yuta knows his identity. Inside the store, the manager goes, "Ah, the couple is back." Moriko panics, denies it desperately, and runs out. Yuta follows her. Kazuomi arrives soon after, and the manager tells him what he saw. Kazuomi gets confused, not understanding why Moriko has been acting so weird lately. Moriko sinks, thinking the manager couldn't even believe she might be dating someone like Yuta. When he appears beside her, she apologizes for being such an embarrassment. Yuta denies it immediately. Moriko starts crying, and the sky lets loose. It begins to pour. Yuta takes off his jacket and places it over her shoulders, which are already trembling from cold and from crying. "Come on, let's go to my place for now. The rain won't stop anytime soon, and we can have lunch there." At his apartment, the two panic at their own boldness and turn red like tomatoes. Moriko heads to the shower. Yuta boils water and looks for old clothes to lend her, leaving everything neatly folded outside the door with a shy note. "Use whatever fits." Moriko comes out wearing an oversized t-shirt and a gigantic sweatshirt, staring at her own reflection in disbelief. Yuta nearly drops the kettle when he sees her. The sweatshirt is swallowing her whole, the sleeves cover her hands, and she's barefoot. "I forgot the slippers. Wait here, I'll grab them." She runs to hang her wet clothes. He tries to help and almost sees her underwear on the drying rack. Moriko squeaks and snatches everything from his hands, burning with embarrassment. He serves tea. They sit on the sofa, separated by about 30 centimeters that feel like an ocean. Moriko compliments the clean apartment, notices the pink keyboard on the PC and blurts, "Wow, looks just like Lily's." Yuta lets her check the computer. When he points at the Fruits de Mar icon, their hands brush and both freeze. Moriko logs into Lily's client, looks around from her point of view and asks, excited, "Have you ever met any game friend in real life?" Yuta shakes his head. "Lily is pretty different from me, you know?" Moriko's stomach growls again. Before she can melt into the floor from embarrassment, Yuta laughs and calls her to the kitchen. They make spaghetti together. She chops tomatoes, he stirs the sauce, and they keep bumping into each other, blushing at every accidental touch. They eat at the little table. Moriko praises the sauce like it's gourmet cuisine. Still embarrassed about the stomach noises, she apologizes for the scene back at the store and offers to wash the dishes. Yuta holds her plate and says awkwardly, "You always put yourself down, but everyone who knows you thinks you're amazing. Lily does, and so do I. I'm really grateful I got to meet you." Moriko starts crying again, softly. Yuta panics looking for tissues. Finding none, he wipes her tears with his sleeve. Between sobs, she explains she feels guilty for quitting her job and becoming a NEET, but his words made her feel accepted. The dryer beeps. Clothes dry. Reality resets a bit. Moriko thanks him, says it was the most fun she's had in a long time, and gets ready to leave. Yuta insists on walking her home. On the way, he tries to confess something, but some kids ride by yelling on their bikes and the moment slips away. In the end, he only manages to say, "I'm excited to spend more time with you, whether as Hayashi and Lily, or like this, in real life." Moriko gives a huge smile and says she is too. In the game, the guild defeats a tough boss, and everyone celebrates that Hayashi and Lily clearly sorted things out. At their usual spot, Hayashi and Lily look up at the same beautiful moon. That night, Moriko falls asleep smiling for the first time in years. The next day, she waits for Yuta at the station, and Hamar is the one who appears first, grinning ear to ear. Yuta arrives right after, already fuming. "I told you the plan in secret, you idiot." Hamar laughs, says he actually has work, teases them as a couple on their first date, and runs off before he gets punched. The two start walking down a street full of happy couples and share an embarrassed laugh. Moriko realizes, once and for all, that Yuta accepts her exactly as she is, unemployed, ex-NEET, hardcore gamer, and that he wants something more, something she doesn't have to hide anymore. Yuta notices she's drifting into her thoughts and calls out, "Shall we? Or we'll be late." She takes a step, slips on the pavement still wet from yesterday's rain, and Yuta grabs her hand. Both turn red, look at the ground, look at the sky, look at each other, and keep walking hand in hand, not letting go anymore, now as a happy couple.